We finally learned of a new character for Star Wars Rebels that's not a droid, and better yet, we've been learning of some actors that may be in the new Star Wars films. All of this coming up on Star Wars News. Hey guys, Neverly Boss. I know it's been a long time, but I've been really busy and been up really late for school and stuff, for band and stuff like that. It's been a really long time. Last time I made a video was in the beginning of February, the end of January, I think. So yeah, it's been a long time, but now, there's a lot of news coming up, and I haven't just been able to do it because I just haven't had the time. So now we're going to do this. This is kind of a little bit later, so I'm kind of compiling it into one video. In some ways, I kind of like that, though, because if I had done it right then and there, it would have been two separate videos, but, it wouldn't have been long enough. It's been like 2 minutes or something like that. But I kind of will go into more depth kind of about these different things. And as you heard earlier, there is a new character for Star Wars Rebels. There's actually two of them. One is a cowboy Jedi, and another one is a street smart kid. And we finally learned some more details about Star Wars 7. All of this coming up on Star Wars News. Now talk about this new character, Kanan, the cowboy Jedi, as the Star Wars Rebel team calls him. You're probably wondering, the Star Wars Rebels time, how is there a Jedi in here? Well, of course, there are a few survivors of the Jedi, of the Order 66, so this is a Jedi, but he's not really kind of the Jedi that you would think he is. In a lot of ways, kind of thinking of other characters, the most I could think of is, which is funny because it's a parody of Star Wars, the most kind of resemblance he has to somebody is Lone Star from Spaceballs. If you've ever watched that, it's basically just a parody on Star Wars. He, in a lot of ways, when watching the video, which kind of just talks about him, meet Kanan, it kind of just talks about kind of him, and basically that's basically what he is. He's basically part Han Solo, part Luke Skywalker, kind of rolled into one in a lot of ways, which is how Lone Star is, Solo, Lone, Sky Star, stuff like that. If you haven't watched it, that's a really good movie, by the way. You should check that out if you like Star Wars at all. It's kind of funny and stuff like that, even though it's kind of not like Star Wars in any way, shape, or form. But yeah. So in a lot of ways, he's kind of different from a regular Jedi. He'll use a blaster sometimes and a lightsaber, and he's kind of conflicted of showing like if he's a true Jedi, because of course he doesn't want to show the Empire that he is a Jedi. So, which is kind of when the Empire's in his face, he's not going to be using his Force abilities. But they did say that throughout the story, he kind of gets a little bit more open with it, and he kind of shows it a little bit more about him being a Jedi. So that could be interesting. He's actually if you just want to know, he's actually voiced by Freddie Prinze Jr. I personally don't know him for anything, but I actually looked it up, and he's from Scooby-Doo, like the earlier movies. He's from the Scooby-Doo movies. If you've ever seen those, he was Freddy, I think, from those. Yeah, he was. But other than that, there's nothing really that's big about him that anybody would know. The roles that he's really big for, like movies geared towards teens. Just looking kind of at his other movies here. He's not really anything important or anything. He's in Shark Bait. If you know that movie, I don't. He's in Kim Impossible. I think he played the voices from, like, I don't know which character in there, but the old Disney show. Yeah, a lot of his movies, it even says on here on Wikipedia, he's an American actor and voice actor. He rose to fame during the late 90s and early 2000s after starring in several Hollywood films aimed at teenage audiences. There's really nothing in here that I've really seen him in, except for maybe part of the Scooby-Doo movie when it was on TV once. Other than that, he's really not that popular, and I'm kind of surprised that he's actually doing this. It says that he's a voice actor, so... And in a lot of ways, I don't know if he'll be good for this or not, because we haven't really seen much of him, but I don't know, maybe he could do a good job. His voice, I think, would kind of work for the character in a lot of ways. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm not even going to go into any detail about that until we actually see an actual performance from him. So yeah, it's Freddie Prinze Jr. that's voicing him. It's kind of all over the place right now. Other than that, with Kanan, we really don't know much about him other than that. We know he will be going up against the Inquisitor, because it does show a picture of that, him kind of battling the Inquisitor, so he may be rubbing against the Inquisitor, if you know what I mean, being conflicts with them. It even shows on the thumbnail for the video on StarWars.com, it shows kind of this double-bladed lightsaber, which I'm guessing is the Inquisitor, and then him. So that's cool. And with Kanan as well, he's kind of the leader of Ghost, which is the ship that I showed in another video a long time ago when Star Wars Rebels was announced. He's kind of the leader of the ship, The leader of who, we don't know. We only know one other character on the ship, which is Chopper. Other than that, we don't know anybody else. But we'll probably learn more about the other rebels on the ship later, or kind of what their ship is entirely about. We don't know any much about that, but we know the leader of the ship now, which is Kanan. So I'm guessing he's going to be kind of with Chopper a lot. I'm guessing they're going to be best pals, kind of like how Luke Skywalker's best pals with R2-D2 in that kind of sense. I'm guessing that's going to be a huge thing. Now, kind of just going on my personal opinion and stuff with Kanan, depending on how they try to, use his character and stuff as kind of Luke Skywalker and Han Solo, there's kind of multiple ways they could do this, and I think there's really only like one that I would like. The way that they could do it is, which I hope they don't do, is like they try to have like Luke Skywalker and Han Solo, but not really combined, but really just like smashed against each other. Like for some amount of time he's like Luke Skywalker, and then some amount of time he's like Han Solo. I kind of don't want that. I kind of wanted it to be like fluid and like just combined overall, so he kind of feels like both at the same time, other than one and then the other, kind of like how Lone Star was in Spaceballs, but it is a comedy movie, so it doesn't really matter. He was kind of like Han Solo, and then he became like Luke Skywalker, and there was never like a time where he was both. He was kind of like a little bit of both of them. I hope it integrated in a smooth way where it doesn't feel like a weird personality, like he has dual personality disorder or something like that. That'd be weird. Hopefully they do it in a way where it actually makes sense and his motives make sense. Because in a lot of ways with a character that's kind of different like that, if they make it seem like his motives don't really make any sense at all, or his behavior is weird, it's just not going to feel right. So hopefully they don't conflict it in any way, shape, or form to make him look like he has some issues or something. Because, I mean, there's been some problems with some characters in the past with stuff, and, trying to get their personalities down, and they just come off strange. But, I'm kind of glad that they showed, like, an actual character in this one, because now we can actually go into more depth about their personality and how they could do it. Because, I mean, with the Inquisitor, he's a bad guy, we know that, but other than that, we really don't know anything about his personality or anything, or what his motives are. But with Kanan, we kind of do. We know he's kind of alone. He's kind of like by himself in a lot of ways. He's kind of solo, but at the same time, he's kind of a leader of the group and stuff like that. And I hope they do it in a way where they get some of Han Solo and some of Luke Skywalker in there, roll it together, but do it in a nice way where it feels original and not just Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, if you know what I mean. So that is all on Kanan. Now talking about the second character that I was talking about earlier. It's actually kind of funny in a lot of ways before I actually go into depth about this character, because all the rest that you see here, besides the intro, which I had to tweak a little bit because of some issues, but all that you see here is actually from the day before, and I hadn't actually finished editing the video yet, and I was going to finish it now, but then I ended up finding out that they actually announced a new character for Star Wars Rebels today, so one after the other. So, we may even see more characters in the future soon, because, I mean, they put two characters in a row, basically. Like, they had Kanan, yesterday, and now they have Ezra today. But now talking about Ezra. Ezra is actually a 14-year-old boy. He is part of the Ghost, and he's basically like this very poor kid. He's kind of like the street smart kind of kid that kind of lives on the streets, and he's kind of a pickpocketer. He kind of steals some stuff. Only to survive, though. He doesn't have any family whatsoever. He's kind of alone. And, he always steals from the Empire in a lot of ways. Now, even though he's not even exactly a rebel yet, as the team called him in the video, he'll steal from the Empire in a lot of ways. He'll, like, steal their helmets and stuff and steal their technology to mess with it. But, we actually don't know yet, but he confronts Kanan and the Ghost, and Kanan takes him into the Ghost and stuff, and they become friends and whatever. And actually, throughout the video, it said that actually Ezra has the Force. He has the power of the Force with him. So I think we may see him eventually becoming a Jedi, because he did have a lightsaber in his hand at one point. So yes, he does use the Force in some ways, but he doesn't know that he's actually using it. And with Kanan, it actually helps bring his powers back as well. Like, he makes it feel more open about it, like I said with Kanan. He's trying to get, throughout the series progresses, like the writer said, he becomes a little bit more open about his abilities. For one reason, because of Ezra has abilities as well. So, Kanan teaches Ezra while he gets his own powers back as well, and he's more open about it. So this character kind of, is kind of a big part of Kanan, in a lot of ways. Other than other than like him being street smart, having the force, other things that they talked about him is that he's kind of very likable, even though he does steal. He's likable when he wants to, and not exactly like he acts like he doesn't care, but he really does. He cares for other people, but at the beginning he doesn't really act like it. As the characters like that, they kind of seem like they don't care, but they really do. If you know what I mean. Yeah, that's all we really know about his character so far. He is actually voiced by somebody I don't know. He's not anybody important or anybody that I know particularly well. I'm actually looking at it right now. I'm trying to find who it is. But before finding that, other than that, I have a picture right there to show him. But yeah, we just learned about him today. Right after we learned about Kanan, we learned about him as well. So that's something. Hopefully, we may learn about more characters now because this is kind of showing like maybe they're starting to push up, more details. So that can be helpful as well. Learning about more. Actually, okay, I found it. His name is Taylor Gray. I'm looking it up right now. He's not been in any movie that I've seen or any TV show that I've known. So yeah, I'm just trying to look at this right now. Yeah, he's not really showing up at all. Yeah, nobody knows about him. Oh, all right. Yeah, he's just some guy. He's a kid too as well. So, but yeah, like Ezra, like I said earlier, is a 14-year-old boy. I don't know how older he gets throughout the series. I don't know if he goes from 14 to 16, 14 to 20. We don't really know how far stretched the show goes. So it depends on kind of how he develops and stuff as a person. Depends. I don't know. But yeah, that's all that we know about Ezra. He's from the main planet of the story, so that's kind of thing about that thing as well. Like he knows kind of his way around, so that could help out. Go the ship. The people, the crew of Ghost and Kanan as well. If he hasn't been on the planet before a lot, Ezra can help him get around, so that he's probably gonna be very important in that. And I said it earlier about Kanan maybe being friends with Chopper, but to be quite honest with you, because of Chopper's attitude of being kind of independent and kind of his Chopper's personality, I'm kind of thinking that maybe Chopper and Ezra will be kind of companions like Luke Skywalker was with R2-D2, because they're kind of similar in a lot of ways. They're independent and they don't seem like they care, but then in the end they actually are. They do care and stuff like that. So they're the same in a lot of ways, Chopper and Ezra, according to the writers of the show, talking about their personalities. Of course, Chopper's just a droid, so he doesn't really have as much emotion as Ezra, but kind of, it's kind of the same thing. So that's all about Ezra. So far, we don't know anything else about him. I haven't seen anything else. I'm guessing as the show progresses, he's going to become a Jedi, stuff like that. But that's all that we know. Now we're going to be talking about the one thing you guys have probably been waiting for. Who is going to be in Star Wars Episode 7? And when are they going to start shooting? That is coming up next. Even Commissioner Gordon is in on the Star Wars 7 action. Now looking at the articles and stuff on Star Wars and the casting. It has been confirmed that the casting is complete for Star Wars Episode 7, and they will start shooting in London in May and try to end in September. That is a rumor, though, and I'm not particularly sure that is entirely true. So, or it will even happen if it is true. But some of the characters that have been recently announced is Gary Oldman. Like I said earlier, Commissioner Gordon. Gary Oldman is possibly going to be in it. It's been strengthened rumors on it. It's been pretty strong that they probably will be in there. Sadly, Zac Efron has even confirmed himself that he's had talks in it, which is sad. Hopefully not. Hopefully they decide to kick him out of there or whatever. Benedict Cumberbatch, which is actually Khan in the Star Trek movie, which makes sense in a lot of ways for the fact that he is, in Star Trek, which is made by J.J. Abrams as well. And Jesse Plemons, which is in Breaking Bad and also Battleship. He was the private in Battleship, and stuff like that. If you don't remember who he is, I'll there'll be pictures right on there, so you'll see who they are. But I think the one that I like the most in here is Gary Oldman in a lot of ways, and he's kind of been shown a lot. I think Gary Oldman could actually do a really good job with this. He's a pretty good actor from all the movies that I've seen him in. He has pretty differing roles, and I mean, there could be multiple ways that he goes. I mean, he could be a villain or could be the good guy. I'm kind of guessing though, especially with Benedict Cumberbatch in there, him being a pretty good bad guy in the new Star Trek movie. I'm guessing that Benedict Cumberbatch will be the bad guy of the movie, depending on who he is exactly. Is we don't know yet, but I think Gary Oldman would be pretty cool as like a Jedi or something like that, like an old wise Jedi, of course. I mean, well, he's not particularly old, but I'm just saying, like a wise Jedi. I think he'd do perfectly well with that. And it also says on here that, I mean, as we know, the only confirmed character for Star Wars Episode 7 is R2-D2, though, so we only know that. And then it also just says on here, too, that it accepted that Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and Harrison Ford will appear as Luke, Leia, and Han. It's pretty accepted, as it says on this thing, It's probably going to happen, sadly. If you've watched my other video, you can tell that I really don't like this idea. Kind of want other stars to shine. Like, why do we need Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and Harrison Ford? I mean, they're kind of in their golden years, if you know what I mean. And I think they should just be left up by other people. And personally, they should have just a new cast of characters completely. We don't need Luke, Leia, and Han. I'm sorry, I don't know if they're trying to go for the original trilogy feel, but why is the question. Why do we need the original characters? I really wanted this to be an expanded universe thing, which it may be still, but okay. So, that is kind of all the characters here that there has been, and it's already been complete though, so there's not going to be any changes in it at all, and we'll see for sure. It still hasn't come out yet, the official cast, and also other people that have been possibly mentioned are Simon Pegg. I can't even say the other two names. I'll just kind of put it on the screen there. I don't even want to even try. But yes, it will try to be. It will try to. They will be shooting in London from mid-May until September, like I said earlier. I don't know for sure if that's true or not. We'll see. I'm not even gonna like completely say that's completely true. I mean, even though I'm on looked at different sites, it still. It also just says here will be the first Star Wars movie since Disney's 4.05 billion purchase of Lucasfilms in October 2012. And again, they still haven't actually had any counting announcements for sure so far, and I can't believe they haven't. They haven't had any characters yet either. They haven't showed us any characters. They don't know. We don't know any characters that are in there. I don't know when it's gonna come out. I don't know if it's gonna be like bang, like a month or like a couple months before the movie comes out. They're just gonna show them all. They're going to do it a little bit at a time, or they're going to do it right now. They're going to make it a surprise. I don't know. Hopefully they don't. I kind of hope that they kind of show a little bit of the characters at a time, so we're actually kept updated and we're actually kept informed and kind of excited, which I'm guessing that's what they will do to increase hype for the movie. That'd be the best decision they would have it as well. So that is all for this update today. I know it's been a long time and this news is a little old, but this article is actually new. It was posted yesterday, but the Kanan, the Cowboy Jedi's, the group, the Star Wars Rebels calls them, is a little bit old, but I just haven't had time. All right, so Star Wars Rebels looking pretty good so far. I'm liking some of the characters. Again, when it does show in September, I kind of will give my personal opinions on that, but that will be a while away. And most of the actors, except for Zac Efron, of course, and some other ones like Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, I basically like most of them except for those four. I mean, we'll see. Hopefully, Zac Efron is not in the movie. I mean, stay in your High School Musical, dude. Just stay in there. I can't say that enough. But we'll see as soon as it comes out. Maybe soon we'll see casting announcements for the new Star Wars movie, and maybe we'll see even more characters for Star Wars Rebels. So, guys, again, that is all the Star Wars news for today. Please like this video if you liked it, and please subscribe to my channel. It would really help me out. And see you guys later, all of you Star Wars fans. And always remember one thing: never underestimate the power of the dark side.